Hello and good morning, folks. This is Wager Detective here, June 3rd, 2026. We're going to get into this cap between the Chicago White Sox and the Minnesota Twins. And before we get into that, let's don't forget to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter for any knowledge Wager may drop, any intel on a game, any trends he might be picking up on, and also on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. Wager Detective loves all his fans out there. When you subscribe to Wager Detective on YouTube, you will get alerts sent to your phone when the Wager Detective report goes up. And the Wager Detective report is going up daily on Twitter and YouTube. I appreciate all my friends and friends out there, or anybody that's following me. I appreciate all my support. I love all you guys out there. Let's get into this cap. All right, we got the White Sox playing 32-29 baseball. And they're 6-4 White Sox last 10 games, 12-18 on the road, but they're 12-6 in one-run games. They're heading to Philly after this, after a day off. They'll be in Philly on Friday. So not bad, right? They're 3-4 in their last 7 road day games at the Twins, 4 over, 3 under in those games. They're scoring 4 runs a game to 5 runs per game average for their opponents. For the White Sox in road day games this year, they are 3-10. So something to keep in mind there when we look at that team. 3-10 in road day games for the White Sox this year, 10 over and 3 under. They're scoring 3.77 runs per game average to 6.69 for their opponents in those games. So keep that in mind. White Sox, 3-10 in road day games this year, and they're 3-4 in their last 7 road day games at the Twins. So between road day games on the year and road day games against the Twins, 6-14 combined between that. So road day games for this year, White Sox 3-10, scoring 3.77 runs per game, but giving up 6.69 runs per game for their opponent. That's an 87-49 run differential disadvantage for them in road day games this year. Now, White Sox last 9, they are 6-3, 3 over, 6 under. In their last 9, they're scoring 5.55 runs per game average to 3.33 for their opponents. That's a 50-30 run differential advantage in favor of the White Sox there. So big contrast between what they're doing in road day games this year and how they're playing recently in their last 9. Now, versus the AL Central this year, they are 11-5. They swept the Royals and they swept the Tigers. So they've been playing good. I think a big thing, the elephant in the room on this game, is the fact that Murakami will be out. He's been out with a hamstring injury, so you're losing a vast majority of your power in that lineup. And a lot of those stats in the last 9, Murakami had a big part to do with that, I'm sure. So again, they're 11-5. The White Sox are versus the Central. They swept the Tigers, swept the Royals. They're faced with being swept today, I do believe. In their 16 games versus the AL Central, they're scoring 4.75 runs per game to 3.19 for their opponents. Comes out to 7.93 runs per game average. And so if we look at that side of the White Sox cap, again, road day games this year, 3-10. They're 3-4 in the last 7 road day games at the Twins, but they are good against the Central, 11-5, and they're 6-3 in their last 9 overall in their overall games this year. So some good and bad there. Now on the mound, you're going to have Eric Fetty. He's been in relief some this year. He's started some games. In the games he started this year, the White Sox are 3-4, 4 over, 3 under. In Fetty's 7-game start this year, White Sox are scoring 4.14 runs per game to 5.28 for their opponents. Comes out to a 9.43 runs per game average. And in 7 starts this year, 34 in the third, 34 hits, 19 earned runs, 10 home runs, and 13 walks. Comes out to a 4.99 ERA, 1.37 whip. And Fetty's giving up 2.62 home runs per 9 in 7-game start this year. So not very good. Now, when we look at what the White Sox do on the road when Fetty starts, the White Sox are 0-4. In those starts for Fetty on the road this year, 4 starts, 19 in the third innings pitched, 17 hits, 11 earned runs, 5 home runs, and 8 walks. Comes out to a 5.13 ERA, a 1.30 WHIP, and he's giving up 2.33 home runs per 9 in 4 road starts this year. So in his 7-game starts this year and his 4-game start on the road, not looking good for Eric Fedde. So something to keep in mind there with the White Sox. Just you could see where Wager Detective is leaning on this cap, and the White Sox are coming in at plus 130, and the Twins are coming back at minus 154. So far in this cap, I think that 154 is looking pretty good right now. Now, for the Twins side of things, they're 4-6 in their last 10. They're 29-33 on the year. 4-6 in their last 10. They're 5-9 in one-run games. So there's a big discrepancy there. As we said, the White Sox 12-6 this year in one-run games, whereas the Twins are 5-9 in one-run games. Now, they are 17-14 at home this year, the Twins are, and they are 10-6 versus the AL Central. So both teams are good against the division. Twins playing a little bit better at home, but White Sox 6-4 in their last 10, and the Twins are 4-6 in their last 10. So, ebbs and flows of it. Now, in home day games for the Twins this year, they are 6-6. So it's not like they have a much better record than the White Sox. Like we said, White Sox 3-10 in road day games this year. Twins 6-6 in their home day games this year. 7 over, 5 under, that 8.5 in those games. In the Twins home day games this year, they're scoring 4.66 runs per game to 4.58. So they're scoring nearly a run better per game in their home day games than what the White Sox are scoring in road day games this year. So those 12 home day games for the Twins are averaging 9.24 runs per game average. Now, in their last 9, the Twins are 3-6, so we got another flip there. We got the White Sox 6-3 in their last 9, and the Twins are 3-6 in their last 9. In their last 9, 6 over, 3 under in those Twins games, and they're scoring 4.66 runs per game to 6.88 for their opponents. So a major differential shift there. They're being outscored 62-42 runs in their last 9 games, whereas the White Sox over their last 9 are outscoring their opponents 50-30. I do caution that with, like I said, Murakami's not going to be in the lineup. You're losing a major power surge in that lineup for the White Sox. They still got guys like Meredith in that lineup. You got guys like Antonucci. Meredith will be batting 5th. Montgomery's not a bad hitter. They're going to be throwing a lot of left-handed bats at Taj Bradley today. But again, the White Sox 3-10 in road day games this year. I can't get off that. And even though the Twins are 3-6 in their last 9, they're still scoring 4.66 runs per game average, but they're giving up 6.88. So you're going to need a pretty good performance from Taj Bradley today. Now, the Twins are 10-6 versus the AL Central this year. They swept 4 games against the Tigers in those 10 wins. And in their 16 games versus the AL Central, the Twins are scoring 4.56 runs per game to 4.81 for their opponent. So both teams versus the Central this year, when they play the Central, are scoring better than 4.5 runs per game combined between the two. The difference is the Twins are giving up 4.81 runs per game against the Central, whereas the White Sox are giving up 3.19, and that's been in large part by, Davis Martin and a couple of the other studs they got over there. But listen, the Twins beat Davis Martin yesterday, so when you send out a pitcher like that, your number 1 ace, and the Twins beat them, and then you're sending out Fedde today, who 0-4 the White Sox are when he starts on the road. And when Fedde starts on the road, like we said, 5.13 ERA, 1.30 WHIP, and he's giving up 2.33 home runs per 9. You can see how the Twins are going to get across the board, and let's see, will they get runs against Bradley? Taj Bradley on the mound for the Twins. The Twins are 2-3 in Bradley's last 5 starts, 2 over, 3 under. Bradley's last 5 starts, 28 1/3, 23 hits, 15 earned runs, 11 walks, 6 home runs, and not bad. In his last 5 starts, Bradley does have a 4.77 ERA, a 1.20 WHIP, and he's giving up 1.91 home runs per 9. So Bradley's giving up 6 home runs in his last 5 outings on 28 and a third. Again, he's kind of lucky he's not seeing Murakami today, but the Twins still have bats. They still got guys that can hit for average. But again, Bradley, last 5 games, the Twins are 2-3 in the starts, and Bradley has a 4.77 ERA, a 1.20 WHIP, and he's giving up 1.91 home runs per 9 over his last 5 outings. Now, at home this year, Bradley, the Twins are 1-2 when Bradley starts at home this year, 1 over, 2 under. In those games, in those 3 starts for Bradley at home this year, 19 and a third innings pitched, 15 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, and only a home run. That comes out to a 2.33 ERA, a 0.98 WHIP, and giving up 0.46 home runs per 9. So between his last 5 and his home starts, there's a major drop-off in the ERA by 2 runs. There's a major drop-off in the WHIP, and there's a major drop-off in home runs per 9. Now it even gets better for the Twins here, and this is why I'm going to lean the Twins. This further encapsulates everything that Wager Detective drew up here. Taj Bradley's going to be on 4 days rest this year. The Twins are 3-1 when Bradley starts on 4 days rest. 24 and a third, 20 hits, 4 earned runs, a home run, and 7 walks. That comes out to a 1.48 ERA and a 1.11 WHIP. Guys, for Wager Detective here, it's just one-way traffic. I hate to be giving chalk out like that. Let's see if we're getting any White Sox love on the line here, if we shall, and see what's going on here with these lines to see if anything moved as of recently. Nationals, so there's money coming in on Max Myers. It was both 108 both ways when I started the cap about 2 hours ago in that game, and now the Twins are garnering a little bit of money, a little bit of action, but I still like the Nationals there. I like that game to go over the 8.5, as we said in my previous report. And then when we look at the Twins, I like the -154. The over-under coming in at 9. I think you can't go wrong with that game to go over as well. So Wager Detective's call here. He's going to call the Minnesota Twins -154 on the money line, and also the game to go over 9. Even if it doesn't go over 9, I think you could get a 5-4 game, 6-4 game, 7-4 game. Everything's pointing towards the Twins here. So that's my stronger play here. Wager Detective, June 3rd, 2026, calling the Minnesota Twins -154 per FanDuel. He's calling the money line on the Twins, and he's calling over 9. I think you can get to at least 9, and I think you at least get a push there, and I think the game can definitely get over, and I think they get to Fetty, and I think the Twins win. So that's Wager Detective. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow Wager Detective on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and remember, guys, when I say I love all my fans out there, I couldn't mean it more. I appreciate all you guys and future fans out there that are watching my videos. I really appreciate you. Again, the Wager Detective Report going up every day on Twitter and YouTube, and reporting live from Atlantic City. This is Wager Detective. I'll talk to you soon.